If you guys don't notice by now, haven't noticed by now, I'm a little bit down.
And how many days you have to deal with the jet lag? This is your first time fly out. Your first jet lag.
Yes, this is my first time overseas and my first jet lag. So at first, people say like, "Oh, you're gonna experience jet lag. It's gonna be a pain in the ass." And I was like, no, no worries. I can handle it." And then once I actually start feeling jet lag, I was like, "Damn, that's bad." Because I remember that like when it's like 4 a.m., I would wake up and then won't be able to go back to sleep again. And I was saying like, "Geez, guys, what's going on?" And then later, when it's like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I would be like, "I need to fall asleep. I need to lay down." So I was like, I remember sleeping on the bus ride back home, and then I missed my stop once or twice, and I was like, "Geez." And then I remember that like some of my friends from the school, they actually told me, "Well, the best way for you to deal with the jet lag is in the afternoon, walk around the city so you won't feel like the need to go to sleep. Because if you sleep, when it's 4 a.m., you're gonna wake up again and you won't be able to sleep again." So the way that I chose to deal with jet lag was like walk around the city, because then you can also, you not only will be able to deal with the jet lag, but you will also be walking around the city and get to know like spots. Like I remember that trying not to get jet lag, I found this very nice coffee shop, very nice cafe in one of the laneways in the close to Burke Street. I was like, yeah, but I that night I was like so dizzy that I don't remember the way, so I never got to go back there. Because if you guys don't notice by now, haven't noticed by now, I'm a little bit down, but I'm a nice guy. I can get lost easily. Even in my city, sometimes I get lost.
But to
I get
compare
lost.
to where you're coming from, like the transport here is, you consider it's better, easier, or like what do you think?
Um, to be honest, I think uh, it's a little, it's more complicated than the transportation in my city, because here in my city you only have bus. That's it. So it's easier to use it. But the difference between, for example, my city and Melbourne is because if you want to go somewhere, you can use Google Maps, and then you have like the transport, all the lines on Google Maps saying like you have to catch a tram here, then you have to get off the tram there, and then you have to go to the train station and catch the train.
In Melbourne,
In
yeah.
my city, if you Google, the Google won't be able to give you the tips of the bus lines. So even though it's more complicated, because in Melbourne you have trains, trams, and buses, you can navigate very easy using Google. In my city, it's difficult, and it's a thing of my city. Just so you guys that are hearing this, in Brazil there are other cities that you can use Google Maps, and it will be okay. You can use it easily. But here in my city, no. Probably because my city is a small city. It's not that big. Even though it's the state capital, it's still considered a small city. And in bigger cities, it's easier to navigate because there's a lot of more people that needs, and you can get lost easily. So
Mm.
for me, uh, that's other transport was also a big shock for me because, for example, as I told you, we don't have trains or trams here in my city. Actually, trams is not a very common transportation here in Brazil. So when I first, the thing that was most excited about was to take a tram ride, because like, but there must be
Because bus
very
and train is
nice.
a common
And
thing.
then it wasn't like, yeah, like train, you can find train in other cities like São Paulo and Rio, but tram, you don't find trams in Brazil. So I was like, yeah, I want a tram ride. I want to like, and plus because in the city they have like the free tram zone, like, oh, that must be nice. Like you can walk around the city and don't have to pay. You can just use tram. So like my first 2 weeks, I was like, yay tram, yay tram. But then after a while, I was just like, yeah, tram. Just
All right. So
another day in the city.
first day at school. So you already get a paper from your agent that organize everything. Like this is your school and this is
Yeah,
what you need to do. This is your first day. You just go to this place, and the rest is the school organized on the first day. Am I correct?
yeah. While in Brazil, they sent me like acceptance letter, and join with that they have like some orientations about how to get to the school and stuff like that. And then they say, oh, you have to be at school this day at this time to orientation. They show you around the campus. And in some schools, which wasn't the case of my school, they even show you around some areas, like for example, some cafes. They also show you, like for example, my school was in front of Southern Cross Station, so some they could show you, for example, you this is Southern Cross. There's a tram stop there. There's stuff like that. In some schools they do that. In my school, depends on the people who that giving you the person that's giving you the tour guide. But it's okay. And then you get orientation. They do like a test to see the level of your English to match you to put you in the right class. That won't be as easy so you get bored, and not difficult so you won't feel like motivated to keep on doing stuff. So and that's general. Every English school like in
Mm.
Australia will do that the first day. And so basically they do like a test, like multiple choice, and then they do like an interview with a teacher, and based on like that they say like, well, look, we think that it will be best for you to be in this class because of that and stuff like that, like the level that you showed in your task plus the interview. I think that would be nice there. So for example, I remember one of my friends that was placed in the same class as me, even though her like multiple choice test was very good, her speaking skills wasn't that great. So they put her in a level below that the level that only her multiple choice test would put her. So she was like, "Yeah, they put me here because they said that it would be easier for me to communicate with you guys than if I went to
I see.
the upper level."
All right.
So that's also another thing that they think of socializing with other students.
And how the study works? Like every day different subject, or today speaking, tomorrow reading, or it's just
It depends on the school. The school that you are, they organize that. For example, in my school, for the morning classes, you have every day different classes. Like you have a first class in the morning, then you have like a lunch break, and then after that you have a second class. But for example, for the afternoon shift, they had like 3 days with one teacher, and then the other 2 days with the other teachers. So you have like a core class,
mm,
and then you have an elective. In the morning, like you have core classes before the lunch break and elective after the lunch break. But in the afternoon, they have 3 days of core classes and 2 days of elective. So it depends on the school,
yep, yep.
and sometimes even the same school they have different depending on the morning or afternoon or even night. It depends.
I see. And how's the your class, the first class? A lot of
I'm afraid
Brazilian.
not
Not
really.
really.
I was actually very shocked about that because in orientation, there was like two other Brazilians, and I was like, well, that's okay. I mean, other two other Brazilians, it's nice. And then in my class, there was like me, yeah, me and just another Brazilian, but we didn't talk that much. And then I was like, well, there's no Brazilians in the school. What is going on?
Where is
But then
majority
during
coming from?
the majority, actually, the school that I was studying, the majority was Colombian,
Ah, see.
Colombians and Koreans. They had a lot of they focus a
Korean.
lot on those Koreans. They focus a lot on both of their markets. Actually, the Asia market and the Latin American market. That's the market that the school focus on. A bit of the European market too, but
Mm.
in North America, like Mexico. But most of that is like Latin America, Asia, and Europe. There's no like African students. I don't know why. And that was it. So we had a lot of in my school. We had a lot of Koreans, Thai students,
Thai.
also Thai Colombians. We didn't surprisingly we didn't have much Chinese, which is weird because in Australia we have there's a lot of international students from China because they have like economic and political
Yeah, but mostly
relationships.
they going to uni. Not I'm not sure about the
Yeah,
English.
yeah, I know. That's because usually before they go to uni, they go to an English school so they can
Yeah, but
go
normally
like
with the uni they have their own English school, so it's better for them to go to that
right,
English school
probably
and
that's
then.
why I remember that Monash Uni they have a lot of Chinese students as well, and
Mm.
they have like separate schools. And oh, we also in my school, my English school, we also had a lot of Japanese students.
Ah, Japanese
So
as well.
yeah, Japanese. So like the majority of students were like Colombian, Japanese, Korean, Thai, and a bit of Brazilians. I found out later that actually there were a lot of Brazilians too, but they were just not on my level. And I was like, well, I actually wanted some friends, but that's okay. I ended
What
up making a
level?
lot of.
What level they put you in?
They put me on intermediate,
Intermediate.
intermediate, and it was nice. I had a lot of Brazilians. They were the majority of Brazilians. They were on the basic or in the advanced.
Mm.
Intermediate, not that much.
Because your
So
English is considerably like okay, like good.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
like
That's why
you
you
can,
not have many Brazilian in your class maybe.
yeah, probably
Mm.
because usually uh, Brazilians they go to a different country knowing zero to nothing of the language, and they tend to learn there, or they study a lot of the language before they travel to this country. So that's why intermediate there's not many Brazilians. Most of them they're like the basics because they didn't know anything, and most of them they or the other half they know a lot, so that's why they're in the advanced, and they already moved to another country planning to like we came here with the student visa, and then we're just gonna like do this for a while, and then we're gonna try to apply to the PR.
Mm.
So
So
that's
how?
why it was
Yeah.
difficult for me to find friends.
So how many months in one level?
I depends. Usually three.
3 months. So start and
Yeah,
then towards at the end there is a test. How many tests
yeah.
in?
Like in my school, every section lasts a month. So you go there after the session. You have like some assessments. That is like speaking, reading, listening, and writing for those four skills that you have to master. And depending on the grades you get, they do like an average, and you have to have, for example, if you have A or B, you are moving to the other level, like you go up. If it's C, you stay. C or below, you stay at the same level. And they don't downgrade you. They only keep you at the same, or they move you up.
So this is every
Uh,
every month.
every
Every.
month, at the end of every session, they do these assessments. And the teachers, they always said, listen, if you get a C, don't feel bad. It's not that you're failing. It just means that you can need to improve a little bit more before you move to other level. So they say that basically like 2 to 3 months is enough for you to stay in the same level in order to improve the
Ah,
language,
I
and then
see.
you can move up, you know. And they always keep on saying that because in some countries, especially Asian countries, they have this culture of like always be the best in the class when it comes to study. And so some students they consider themselves as failures if they don't go up. I remember that I have like a classmate from Korea, South Korea, and she was like very sad one day because I got promoted and she doesn't. Because, well, it's not her fault. It's not because she's bad. Actually, her English was very good. Just because she didn't match the necessary
Requirement.
things that, yeah, she didn't make the requirement. So I was like, okay, you need to chill out. But then later on, some of my friends from Korea told me that in their country they have this culture of always like having good grades and stuff
Ah,
like
yeah.
that. They have this pressure on them, like ever since they were uh,
Maybe
kids.
that's a, like
Because
an Asian thing. Like we have to
yeah, I don't
do
know. I
everything's good.
I didn't want to say that is an Asian thing because it's kind of putting the whole all the countries in a box, and I think that's kind of racist, or maybe can
No,
be
not really.
interpreted as racist. So it's like the same thing when you say like,
Yeah.
oh, all the Latin American countries, but we're so different from each other. But I think that at least in Korea they are like that, and they, even I remember that girl that I told the one that got upset because she didn't get promoted. She told us once that the workload for a student in Korea is actually very heavy. They start in school like in the morning and they go
Yes.
back home like at 10 p.m. I was like, gee, like I thought that I was studying too much when I was living here in Brazil, that I had class from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. But you have it to 10.
Yeah.
That's
Normally
kind
they
of,
just have to do extra classes after that, like music or extra.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think in Australia the
English.
school system also works like that. Like you have like elective after normal after the core classes. But in Brazil we don't have that. That's why it's for us it's kind of weird. Like we go there, we have mathematics, we have like language, we have chemistry, biology, and stuff like that. And after that, go back home. Like we don't have like music, arts, all of that. Actually,
Mm.
it's not a part of our curriculum.